Adam Root here. We are on our way to the Red Dog Diner. Gonna have ourselves some nosh before we head out to the see the animals, get down and dirty with some giraffes. And what else are we gonna see over there, Rain Delay?
It'd be nice if you said it's day 2 of the New Orleans vlog.
Okay, well it's day 2 of the New Orleans vlog.
All right, the vlog's taking a detour now. We're at the Global Wildlife Center. We're about to get in one of those Jeeps and go feed the giraffes, the deer, what else? The zebras, buffaloes, Texas steers, all the good stuff.
So zebras are perfectly fine as long as you're not feeding them or teasing them. They're just competitive eaters, which means as soon as they start eating, they try to bite and kick other animals around them. We don't like that behavior. We consider it very naughty.
They're Adam when he's eating.
Right.
Behind dark feathers lie your crystal eyes, and I want to see your smile. Come down, sunbird, don't fly. Yes, I'm as scared as you are, but I can lie. I want.
Directly behind me we have a llama. And then over here we have a deer. He wants this.
Before Hurricane Katrina, we had a couple people that stayed behind just to keep an eye on the animals, make sure fences didn't get knocked down or anything. But when they came to check on the animals, they couldn't find any. So they drove around and they finally found every single animal. We have about 4,000 total at the highest elevation point on the property. And they were all just standing in one big circle. Since they're all herbivores, they don't really have any predators or anything to worry about.
Right.
So they had the big animals on the outside and all the little animals and the babies on the inside.
That's
and
amazing.
that's what they do to stay away from the high water, since they don't really like their feet getting wet too.
I need my memories, 'cause mine are all just of me. I know.
Dan, do you often gamble till your last dollar is gone?
I'm just trying to survive, man. I'm just trying to make it through.
Well, that was an interesting hand. Let's talk about just a little bit. So we start off with the guy who's under the gun, Dan, and he decides to go for the limp.
I'm not a big fan of the limp play from under the gun.
With the Jack 8?
No.
Okay, gets over to the hijack. He raises it up with mystery cards. We don't know what he had. Our hero, Tommy Boy, in the cutoff, decides to make the call with the king queen. I'm sure you don't have any problem with that.
Nope.
And let's see, the button makes the call, $15 with the 5 deuce of clubs, which I'm sure Dan doesn't like.
Well, I think the best play is probably just a fold.
But you
But
don't,
if you really have a hankering to
you
play,
don't fold, Dan.
well, yeah. I mean, there is another option. Right.
It's over to me in the big blind. I complete with the king 10. I mean, it's not a great hand. Not going to put any more money in the pot. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so the flop's good for everybody. It's the ace 10-9, all clubs. And our boy to the left here, he's a Notre Dame fan, so I call him our boy. He throws out $35, and that seems, to me, reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he does flop a flush, and he's got outs if he's beat.
You gotta start getting that value right away.
Cutoff lets it, or hijack lets it go, and Tommy in the cutoff makes the call, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard.
And then 5 deuce calls on the button.
Yeah, not a big fan of that call. Think there should be a raise in there, little combo bet for value and protection.
When you play the 5 deuce, Dan, of clubs, and it comes club, that's probably the best case scenario for you.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, probably want to start building a pot there.
I mean, you could make some credence for flatting just because he is in position. Mm-hmm. But if he was out of position, it would just have to be mandatory raise.
And Dan, I have the king 10 no. Oh, I have a pair. I have a pair of 10s, Dan. What should I do?
You should probably just toss those bad boys.
And that's what I did. The 3 of diamonds is on the turn, and the early position raiser fires out a bet of $75.
It is a little on the small side. When you get called in 2 spots here, it's pretty clear that somebody has something.
Right.
Like, obviously, both players have something.
And there's no reason for the early position raiser to believe he's beat. Right?
No, obviously not. I mean, you can get value from like infinite hands here.
Right. Like Tommy Boy, who's got the king queen.
Yeah,
that's like the hand you're targeting.
Like ace queen with the queen clubs, or there's just all kind of, and even an ace might still call you, thinking that you might be, their ace is just good.
Tommy Boy makes the call. I doubt you have a problem with that.
Nope, perfectly standard.
And then the 5 deuce. Man, this 5 deuce is afraid to put in money.
Yeah, he is.
He elects to just call again.
He calls again. I mean,
I get the sense that now that I know what his hand is, I didn't know at the time, that he just wants to get to a river that's not a club. I think he actually just wants to get showdown.
I think he might be a little nervous at this point, which isn't totally unfounded because this guy did bet into 2 people twice.
Yeah, 3 people the first time.
Right. Yeah. True. 3 people the first time. Make a raise on the flop most of the time, and on the turn, I think it's like there's a little bit less of a reason to raise, just because when this guy does bet again, I mean it's a pretty strong line, so. I mean, I would definitely still be raising here some of the time, but
Right.
could understand why he sometimes wouldn't raise.
All right, and then the river brings the 4th club. The early position guy, the Notre Dame fan, now checks, and Tommy throws out a bet of 120, which is less than, what, a third of the pot at this point?
I think it's a good bet, though. I mean, he's gotta just try and get crying value at this point.
Right, and this is where the hand gets pretty interesting because the button now says fold. But he doesn't fold, does he, Dan?
No, he holds on to his cards.
Which tells everybody that he flopped a flush.
Yeah, it really does.
However,
it really does.
if you didn't know that he flopped a flush, don't worry. because he just slipped it up. So now we know. Now everybody knows he flipped. Now everybody knows that he flopped a flush and lost.
Well, yeah, he holds onto his cards because I guess
Correct.
he assumes the other guy's gonna fold. He wants to show the table, show the bad beat or whatever. But the guy who has the jack high flush, he picks his cards up
As if he's
gonna fold, but he looks at him, he doesn't do anything. And so this guy took that as a fold and then flipped up his club. And the dealer's like, whoa, hold on. This guy's
regardless,
doing anything
he was still should not have done any of this. He should have just said, "I fold," and
yeah,
folded.
Yeah.
Or he should have looked at his cards pre-flop and folded. The Notre Dame fan in early position, who's actually under the gun, he has to decide what to do, knowing there are 4 clubs on the board. He has 2 clubs, and this clown over here had 2 clubs.
Right. There's a lot of clubs out.
But is Tommy bluffing here?
I don't think he is. I think it's really hard, next to impossible, Tommy to be bluffing here, especially with the sizing. Because like you said, the sizing's so
it's a
small,
tiny
like
bet.
it would be crazy to try to bluff this spot. And well, not only that, but the way the hand is played, the guy behind could, he could theoretically have the king of clubs himself.
The button?
Yeah, the button. Mm-hmm. I mean, forget the fact we know he has a flush, but he
Right.
could, like the way this hand plays out, he could definitely have that. So I mean, it would be kind of crazy to. I mean, it sucks because you see this guy's hand, and you think just combinations wise, like how many freaking clubs are out there? But
Sure. Well, Tommy actually texted me later after this hand was over, Dan, and said that he didn't like his river bet. That he thought he should have pumped it up.
no, I don't think so, because given the fact that he's not really bluffing, I mean, I think he's just being results oriented because he wound up getting called.
Right.
But given the fact that this is such a lockdown board, his bet is already polarizing enough as it is because, as we've discussed, he's not really bluffing. So
He might not even be comfortable betting like the queen.
That's what I'm saying. So when he bets this, he kind of just has like the king all the time. I really think he does. And if you bet bigger, you're skewing your range even more polar to only the king or a bluff. At least if he bets like a smaller sizing, maybe somebody can talk themselves into calling with like the queen, or it doesn't make any sense as a bluff.
Well, I didn't stop our Notre Dame fan
It didn't.
because he definitely made the call and bemoaned his bad luck.
He claimed that this guy exposing his 2 clubs didn't influence his action, but I don't believe it did. Or I do believe it did.
Well, what's the lesson here, Dan? You don't
Limp under the gun.
Don't limp under the gun.
That's a no. Don't make overly light peels on the pre-flop with garbage hands on the button. And if you want to play those, just raise them.
And if you have a monster on the flop and you get outrun by the river and have to fold, no one needs to know. Just fold. I hope you enjoyed this little segment we're going to call a rain delay. So I just left that game. Rain delays at the other end of the table, bluffing off hundreds of dollars into people who have aces. I think out of sheer boredom, I realized that me and Dan were just not at a good game. So I have moved on. I'm done for the night. They're gonna keep playing, of course. But they obviously love it more. In the game for $500. Out of the game for $11.92. Yeah, so that's it for tonight. If you liked what you saw, guys, if you made it this far, you probably did. So if you like what you saw, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe. Need it. Need to hit that subscribe. Leave a comment or reach out to me in another form of social media, and I will probably, most likely, hit you back. Thank you guys, and we will see you tomorrow.